Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we will examine what a perfect offseason would look like for your Baltimore Ravens as the 2022 season is over. We turn the page and look ahead to next year. What do the Ravens need to do? I'll tell you here in just a few moments from right now. Before we do, this is a great time to have your notifications turned on. Not only just subscribe to the channel, but also turn on your noties so you never miss a moment of the latest happenings with your favorite team. And here's what I want to do. For everyone that is a member of the Noti Gang that's got their notifications turned on, let me know in the comments section. Spam Noti Gang in the chat. And everyone that types Noti Gang, we're going to shout you out in the show later on this week. The 2022 season in the books for Baltimore, and now a lot of questions heading into 2023 of what exactly this team will do. I have 5 specific things that Baltimore needs to do to have a perfect offseason. Let's go ahead and look at the outlook for the Ravens heading in to the offseason. Team needs the obvious one at wide receiver. Probably need actually a couple wide receivers in all honesty. Cornerback, defensive tackle, linebacker, and offensive guard, all needs as well. Notable free agents as of right now include Lamar Jackson, although the Ravens are not expected to let Lamar just walk on in and be a free agent. He would more than likely get the franchise tag or get an extension. Marcus Peters, Justin Houston, and Geno Stone. Geno Stone, a restricted free agent. In the draft, the Ravens have just 5 picks in this upcoming draft. They do have a first-rounder in the 22nd position, but do not have a second-round pick. So, with that, let's go ahead and break things down. First and foremost, the number one thing the Ravens must do, in my opinion, is re-sign Lamar Jackson. And I've been reading the comments. I know some of you over the last couple of days have been furious with the way the regular season ended and Lamar not being available and are ready to move on from Lamar. And I understand the frustrations. But at the end of the day, there are franchises in the National Football League that spend years, sometimes decades, trying to find a franchise quarterback. And the Ravens have one in Lamar Jackson. And the truth of the matter is that the Ravens are going to be hard-pressed to find another quarterback better than Lamar Jackson, and they have him right there in the fold. And we saw what happened when they didn't have Lamar out there. That offense took a significant drop-off. It won't be cheap, but in the long run, you'll be thanking me later for why the Ravens should re-sign Lamar. Now, they still have other guys that are getting paid too. Ronnie Stanley is the highest paid player right now at $24 million. Roquan Smith, he's got a new contract that's going to give him $20 million. Marlon Humphrey, Mark Andrews, all those guys are getting some pretty significant money. And then you factor in, well, quarterbacks aren't so cheap. When you compare what Lamar would get to some of the others around the National Football League, somewhere in that Aaron Rodgers to Kyler Murray range. And, of course, Lamar wants that guaranteed money, which was the biggest issue of all of this last offseason. At the end of the day, you have to do what's best for this franchise. You've already got an MVP with Lamar Jackson previously. That needs to be your guy going forward, and you need to build this team around Lamar Jackson. So, spend the comments. Be honest with me. Do you agree or do you disagree? You're a hater if you disagree with me on this one, but that's okay. Let me know, should the Ravens extend Lamar Jackson? Y for yes, in for no. You might get an ad break coming up here. Take advantage of it while that ad's playing. Get your votes in the comments. Y for yes, in for no, if the Ravens should extend Lamar Jackson or not. Number 2, with that first-round pick that the Ravens have at 22 overall, the Ravens desperately need to draft a wide receiver in the first round, as the Ravens, I think, could still end up signing a receiver or two in free agency. But I think it's so important to get a wide receiver that's so young, that has a rookie contract, and there's plenty of them in this upcoming draft. Mel Kiper Jr. of Espen, this was his latest big board of wide receivers. You can see Jackson Smith, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, the top 3, Zay Flowers also up there. And at that 22 spot, I'd be shocked if JSN and Quentin Johnson are still around at 22. But Jordan Addison, I think there's a chance he could still be there potentially, or the Ravens could be in position maybe to even move up in the draft to get Jordan Addison if necessary. Won the Biletnikoff when he was at Pittsburgh, had a pretty decent season this past year at USC as well. Watch out, he could be an instant impact player for this Ravens offense if he were to make his way to the Baltimore Ravens. Last year at USC, played in 11 games, had 59 catches for 875 yards, 8 touchdowns. The big statistic that stands out to me here is his average yards per reception, 14.8. That's like a first down and a half, essentially, every time Jordan Addison was catching the football. And he was under a new system at USC, playing under Lincoln Riley there, and still had a very productive year last year. So I'm watching for Jordan Addison. Would love to see him in a Ravens uniform. Pair him up with Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely and company. Watch out. To me, I think that could be a very good fit. And I know what you're thinking. Well, the Ravens don't like to throw the football a whole lot. I think I have a solution to that here in just 1 second, too. Should the Ravens draft Jordan Addison in round number 1? Let me know in the comment section. D for draft, P for pass. What are you feeling? D for draft, P for pass. Let me know. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. You can bet on the NFL playoff action, the NBA, college basketball, and more, all in one place at chatsports.com/bet, and you get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. It's like getting a pizza, and then you get another pizza and a couple other slices for free. It's a heck of a deal. It's available just for viewers of the Ravens Rundown. Get yours now. Sign up today and get that 125% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. This one, I think the flock is all on the same page and would be rejoicing if this happens. For the love of humanity, please fire Greg Roman. Please, as much as humanly possible. You get rid of this guy so fast. And I know that you may be sitting here, well, the regular season has been over for a couple days and he's still employed. It's not too late. It's not too late to make this decision. There is still time, Eric Decosta, John Harbaugh and company, to move on from Greg Roman and save this offense. If you look at the statistics, when Greg Roman came in back in 2019, this offense was a juggernaut. He did a great job back in 2019. They were first in the league with 33.18 points per game. But ever since, they've gotten worse every single year. 2020 dropped off to 7th. 2021 dropped off to 17th. And this past year, they were barely averaging 21 points a game, 19th in the league. It is time to move on. And believe me, there are better options out there. The short list, just off the top of my head, right in-house, you got to include T. Martin and James Urban, who are already on your staff. What I do wonder, though, about those guys is kind of the guilt by association thing. If you're going to promote from within, you have to say, look, you can't be doing what Greg Roman was doing. You got to change up the scheme if T. Martin or James Urban are going to get the job. Outside hires, Bill O'Brien has been rumored to be wanting to get back into the NFL, although his name's come up with New England. He might be headed there. He's the current OC at Alabama, former Houston Texans head coach. Todd Monken just won a second national title with Georgia. And with Todd Monken, you have to think something has got to give, right? He's either going to be a head coach or go back into the NFL at some point. Todd Monken has done a really good job of adapting to his personnel over the years, even all the way back to Oklahoma State when he was offensive coordinator there. And then there's Frank Reich, who has a good track record as an offensive coach. Things did not end well with Indianapolis as their head coach, and he might actually end up getting a head coaching job when it's all said and done. But at the moment, he's available, and he would be certainly an upgrade, I think, over Greg Roman. So you tell me, get your votes in below in the comments. Should the Ravens fire Greggy? What do you think? Type F for fire, type K for keep. Spam those Fs for fire as much as possible. I know how you really feel. It's okay. Put those Fs in the comments. You want to see Greg Roman fired. Number 4 on my Ravens perfect offseason. Finding more salary cap space. I know what a lot of you may be thinking. The salary cap is a myth. Okay, it's not real, right? Well, the Ravens it would appear at the moment have a decent amount of salary cap space, $40.1 million to be exact, if the cap is set at $225 million, like the folks at Spotrac are speculating of what it will be. But the moment that you sign Lamar Jackson and get that deal done, all of a sudden, you don't have much cap to work with. Here's a couple of options potentially the Ravens could cut to free up some of that cap space to sign Lamar and then bring in some other players and then your draft picks as well. You cut Gus Edwards, you're going to save over $3 million. If you cut Chuck Clark, you're going to save close to $4 million. And then there's Calais Campbell, who might actually just retire anyway. If you cut him, then you can save about $6.5 million. So those are some early cut candidates potentially as the Ravens try to make their money work for them, in the words of Dave Ramsey. Let's see if they can figure this out and find that cap space to improve this roster. There's always one. We know this roster is going to change. So tell me in the comments section, name a player the Ravens should cut. Who should they say sayonara to and save money to spend elsewhere? Let me know in the comments section. Be honest. It's okay. You can be critical. Name a player you think the Ravens should cut in this offseason. And finally, for a perfect Ravens offseason, my number 5 priority is opting in on Patrick Queen's 5th-year option. I know Patrick Queen got off to kind of a slow start to the 2022 season, but in the second half of the year, he was on. He put jelly on the bread and just spread it. That's what he was able to do this past year. He was just unbelievable. And his 5th-year option would likely be in the range of $11 to $12 million is what he would command. And I think when you talk about the Ravens and their history of what they've been able to do over the years, it starts with the defense, and in particular the right linebacking core. You got Roquan Smith taken care of. Now you need to take care of Patrick Queen and make sure he gets locked up for a long time as a member of the flock. The stats on Patrick Queen in the first 3 years of his young career, last year had a career high in tackles with 117, also 5 sacks and a forced fumble, and has gotten better, I think, throughout his career and been a great piece for this Ravens defense. The nerds at PFF give him some pretty solid scores. Overall grade at about a 70, run defense close to 63, pass rush at about a 76, and then coverage grade at about 68.2. So you can see Patrick Queen, there is some value there. This is a guy that I think can be really good for a long time with this Baltimore Ravens team. First order of business, so this offseason, is opting in and taking that 5th-year option to bring Patrick Queen back there. So, my 5 things the Ravens need to do for a perfect offseason. Re-sign Lamar, draft a wide receiver in the first round. We're looking at you, Jordan Addison. Let's bring you to Baltimore. Fire Greg Roman, please, and move on. Change up the scheme. Throw it out completely. Start from scratch on offense. Find more salary cap space. I know it's not easy, but you got to move on from some guys to make the cap work for you, and then opt in on Patrick Queen's 5th-year option and keep him with this Baltimore Ravens team for a very long time. Let's hear from you now. What move do you think the Ravens should make this offseason? I have laid out what I think would be a perfect scenario for the Ravens over the next couple of months, but now it's your turn to be the GM here on the Ravens Rundown. Let me know what you think the Ravens should do, whether it's something we mentioned here or something else that we didn't talk about today. Let me know in the comments section below. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Ravens there, and I will see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown. Have a great day.